Service has stated that to continue to fight against importation of
Between July and September 2024, over a year after his appointment as Comptroller General of Customs by President Ahmed Bola Tinubu in 2023, Adeniyi has undertaken numerous initiatives that have garnered widespread attention. His efforts have been saluted by not only the villa occupants, Office of the National Security Advisor, Finance Ministry, but also the common Nigerians.
When he came on board, he actually called a stakeholders meeting, a town hall meeting, and we told him various challenges that we have in the industry. And he has been looking into it. One of the things I remember telling him was the issue of forex exchange that time, and the issue of CBN insisting that they want a price mechanism, which I told them is not the responsibility of CBN. And he has been tackling it, maybe meeting the various ministry, and this has been cancelled.
CGC Adeniyi has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to fortifying Nigeria's borders and enhancing national security by launching initiatives that benefit the public. There are numerous definitive evidence of that. Two recent events, the stakeholders meeting at the Office of the National Security Advisor and the seizure of illicit goods that were estimated to worth over 31 billion naira at Onne Port, clearly reflect his patriotic service and standard of leadership at the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS.
Movement of fuel to legitimate locations is not our concern. Customs only becomes involved when there are attempts at smuggling it outside the country. However, we must together address the issues of sincerity and accountability among all the parties that are involved in the supply chain. Transparency and integrity are critical in our collective efforts to combat smuggling and ensure the proper distribution of petroleum products. Let me be very clear that we will remain committed to facilitating legitimate business activities, particularly those of our stakeholders, HIPMAN, DEPMAN, and we will do all we can to support your operations. But we will not hesitate to suppress all forms of suspected illegitimate activities involving petroleum products. Our goal is to create an environment where honest businesses can thrive while we eliminate opportunities for smuggling and other illicit activities.
It is often said that good deeds may sometimes be deemed common, but providing frequent positive feedback from elders and superiors is not. The commendations from the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, about CGC Adeniyi during the stakeholders meeting, particularly regarding NCS's strategic approach to curbing petroleum product smuggling, which in other words is known as Operation Whirlwind, was extremely impressive and encouraging. It is widely believed that petroleum smuggling is more than a sabotage against the national economy. It is a national security threat that undermines government's efforts to protect lives and property, depletes national revenue, creates fuel scarcity, and destabilizes the oil sector. Ribadu's acknowledgement of Adeniyi's achievements and target is inspiring.
Smuggling has been one of the biggest of our own problems. Criminal activities, lawlessness, attack on our economy. If there is one single thing that is the reason why we are unable to stabilize Naira today in Nigeria, is because of this smuggling, particularly of the oil products, especially PMS. Whatever it takes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that we will say enough is enough. Let's put a stop to it. We can do it. We are doing very well so far. And encouragement is coming from government for you to continue.
Under CGC Adeniyi's leadership, the NCS has intensified its surveillance operations and demonstrated resilience in dismantling smuggling syndicates, which has statistically reduced the rate of petrol products being supplied to gunmen in the woods. This is why bandits now demand full-tanked motorcycles in their ransom list, while other security operatives tactically use these parameters to target them. Adeniyi's commitment to utilizing innovative technologies such as real-time monitoring systems and blockchain in combating smuggling further illustrates his forward-thinking approach. His speech before the stakeholders meeting reinforced belief in his dedication to transparency and accountability. Coincidentally, he has always been a reliable pillar when it comes to honesty.
All of you, especially the younger ones, you need to have change of attitude. If you know this thing is not going to hold by 9, don't put it at 9. There's nothing wrong in it. Do your timing properly, because success in life goes with timing. Take it or leave it. We pretend a lot as people. If you want to succeed in anything you do, you need to stick to time. So I'm urging all of us, whatever we do, we need to be serious about timing. It's very important. The moment you fail in timing, you are failing in any process you are going to undergo. So, and this program as it is so important. It's so important in the performance of our duty. Any training you get during the course of this program, I expect all of you to utilize it very properly. It's very important, and this is the challenge we are facing as a nation now. Cargo examination is very vital in the performance of custom duty procedure. That is basically what is left for customs as it is. Declarations are made by declarants. Payments are made on cargoes by declarants. But it is now our duty to confirm what has been declared and what has been paid for. So you can see, apart from our duty as revenue collectors, we also serve as guardians to Nigerian security at the point of entry of cargoes. We are not only talking about illicit weapons, guns, ammunitions, we are also talking about We are not talking about only security. We are talking about the health of the nation.
EGC's three-pronged agenda, bordering on consolidation, collaboration, and innovation. This training is particularly important to the NCS in the sense that it borders on examination, new ways of cargo examination and profiling, and also it touches the illicit smuggling of small arms and light weapons. And we all know the effect of this on national security if they are not policed properly. So, in respect of this, the NCS management is collaborating with the WCO and the West African the WASP or WASP to ensure that customs personnel are properly trained in the new ways of cargo examination and profiling. This course has both theory and practical aspects. By Wednesday and Thursday, we should be going down to the seaport, specifically Tinkan Island, for the practicals.
The Federal Operations Unit, FOU Zone A, of the Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, has handed over 6,488 kilograms of cannabis sativa, otherwise known as Indian hemp, which street value is about 519 million naira, and which it impounded, and 4 suspects connected with the seizure to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The step is in adherence to the directive of the Comptroller General of Customs, Wale Adeniyi, and the working relationship and the interagency cooperation between the Customs and the NDLEA, meant to combat the menace of illicit drugs in the Nigerian society. While handing over the seizures and the suspects to the representatives of the NDLEA at the Ikeja, Lagos office of the FOUA on September 23, 2024, the Comptroller of the unit, Comptroller Kola Oladeji, cautioned the youths and traders who are involved in the distribution and sale of illicit drugs like cannabis sativa. Oladeji stated that they are not only putting their lives at risk, but also jeopardizing the safety and security of the Nigerian society at large.
We've restructured our operational strategy. We based our operation on intelligence gathering, and with the aid of high tech, with our profiling of risk analysis, these 3 combined factors really aided us in achieving this. It's not a day job. Even as I'm talking to you, we are still gathering intelligence more. Some of these drugs were intercepted along the express on the way to the east, some to the north. Some were intercepted within Lagos because, you see, the mode of distribution of drugs has changed. We too, we are changing with them. They are no longer using big truck. You know, one of our press conferences we did in the past, we showcased a truck load of Indian hemp. But now what they do is to use smaller buses to distribute, conceal it with general goods. But with the aid of intelligence, I think we always get them. And sometimes, if they know that we are almost getting them, the drivers or the owners will bolt away on citing, on knowing that things are not going to work out. They have been caught. And it's in line of that we are able to intercept, some, then with suspects. We have 4 suspects here, which they can let us know, though we have to protect them. That's the reason why we cannot expose them to you, so that it will not jeopardize our further investigation, especially by our sister agency who is taking over the case from us.
He said this is why all Nigerians must take a strong stand against the trade in illicit drugs and work towards creating a drug-free environment for the present and future generations. The comptroller appealed to the public to join the customs in advocating against the trade in illicit drugs, adding that there is a need to raise the bar concerning the awareness about the dangers of drug abuse and also support the law enforcement agents who are combating drug trafficking.
Trading and distribution of illicit drugs, such as cannabis sativa, poses a grave danger to our communities. These substances do not only have detrimental effects on the individual's health and well-being, but also contribute to social problems such as crime and violence. The negative impact of these drugs calls for the need to work together for the reduction and possible elimination of the presence of such substance in our communities. I want to caution the youth and traders who are involved in the distribution and sale of illicit drugs like cannabis, sativa, are not only putting their lives at risk, but also jeopardizing the safety and security of our society, such as a whole.
Hereby wish to express my deep appreciation to the controller, his men, and the officers for this seizure and handing over process to NDLEA. This is a clear demonstration of existing collaboration and synergy between NDLEA and Nigerian Customs Service. At this juncture, I will let you know that this is not the first time Customs Services has been seizing and handing over to the NDLEA, both here and elsewhere within Nigeria here. So this collaboration has been existing for a very long time. We appreciate it and we enjoy it. Because if you allow what I'm seeing at my back over here to be in circulation here in Nigeria, as it has multiplier effect on human and economy and whatever thing you may be thinking of, it should not go down well for this country. So I appreciate you, sir, and the entire teams of the Zone A operational unit. So at this juncture, I, on behalf of the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Boba Marwa, OFR, CO, and DSS, and on behalf of my commander, Abakali Manwali, Lagos State Commander, NDLEA, hereby take over the SEPT as to be handed over to us this afternoon.
He pointed out that trading and distribution of illicit drugs such as cannabis sativa poses a grave danger to the society, adding that these substances do not only have detrimental effects on the individual's health and well-being, but also contribute to social problems such as crime and violence. Oladeji stated that the negative impact of these drugs calls for the need to work together for the reduction and the possible elimination of the presence of such substances in the nation's communities.
You recall The CGC has always believed that an efficient, motivating system is very key towards the attainment of our organizational goals, and this was why we keyed into it, and we felt it's very important to recognize officers who had distinguished themselves one way or the other as far as the performance of various responsibilities is concerned. This will be the second series in the recognition we have given as a command to officers since my coming on board, and this had really gone a long way in ensuring that healthy rivalry is being ensured among our officers and men, as well as efforts towards the attainment of our revenue targets. And this was why we felt it's very important we recognize those of them that we have found to be worthy of recognition. We have an award committee which had brought forward names of officers, men that justify and merit this recognition. We have officers of the month, those who have distinguished themselves as regards the generation of revenue, those who have made very significant contributions to the revenue targets of the command, those who are very hardworking and had proven to be exemplary in the conduct of their duties, those who have been seen to be up and doing their various beats, as well as those who appear very neatly within the month under review. So these are officers which we felt it's very important to recognize them, and this is exactly what we have done, and it has significantly assisted towards the attainment of our organizational goals. Thank you.
So you told us that the command made 1.5 trillion from January to September, and this is unique. Can you throw more light on that?
Yes, it's plugging revenue leakages that had been the major source of most of this revenue which we had reported. We've also said it that it's not that the cargo throughput had increased, it hasn't. It has even reduced drastically. And we've seen a monthly reduction when you compare with the corresponding periods last year, July, last year, August. We've seen over 3,000 declarations reduction. So, however, we're able to plug leakages and to ensure maximum payment of revenue to the coffers of government, and this had assisted towards what you are seeing today.
Interception is a testament of our continued dedication and commitment to safeguarding our borders from the importation of illicit and harmful substances. The negative impacts of drugs such as cannabis indica on individuals, families and society at large ranges from destruction of lives, increase in crime, fueling violence and crisis, as well as other societal vices. By keeping these dangerous substances out of our communities, we are preventing untold harm and helping secure a safer future for our citizens, particularly our youths, who are more vulnerable to the allure of these harmful substances. Today, we hand over these consignments, along with the suspects involved, to the NDLE for further investigation and prosecution. The full weight of the law will be brought to bear on those individuals who remain resolute that anyone caught attempting to smuggle contraband or banned substances into Nigeria will face the same fate.
For this great occasion. And at the same time, the people that have come together to say they are celebrating me, there are people that worked with me, and I never expected that a day like this would come. So if you have worked with some people and they feel so much committed, and they feel there's a compelling need for them to celebrate you, it means you must have touched their lives positively in one way or the other. Pray for everybody who serve his term. You have full circle of your tour of duty. Once it's not an abrupt end to a service, one should prepare his mind. Nothing is eternal, nothing is forever. So the very day we were joining the service, we knew that a day would come when we had to exit. So everybody must be prepared, and everybody should not be afraid of anything. The world outside here is quite interesting. You wake up at your time, you sleep at your time. The CG, I would say very, very much thank you to him. He's an excellent leader. I'm no longer in the service, but I cherish his determination. I cherish his strength. He's a man of strength, and he has the rudiments of the job. So I wish him success. The management, I wish them success. I can see custom getting higher and higher under his leadership.
Honestly, I'm happy for him. It is not an easy task for someone to have spent 35 years unscarred with unblemished record. He's a man highly principled, full of humility, full of courage and valor. He's a man that the service will no doubt miss because of his intrinsic qualities. We have no doubt that wherever he is going right now, he has laid the solid foundation for himself, and he will continue to make it. For someone who has in-depth knowledge of revenue recovery, for someone who have in-depth knowledge of how to generate revenue for the service, obviously you expect that he will move and move forward. Obviously, you cannot expect someone who has done so much. When he was in PTML, he made one of the largest revenue during his time. When he was APM in Tinkan, the revenue drive of Tinkan rose up astronomically.
DCG Festus Oku is a very amiable fellow and a strict disciplinarian. When I met him for the first time was at Lillipon when I was PRO Papa, and thereafter our path crossed again at Tinkan Island Port, where he was the DC in charge of Deputy Controller in charge of Revenue, and I was Deputy Controller in charge of Enforcement. He used to tease me as the IG, Inspector General, being the DC Enforcement, and I used to tease him as the Minister of Finance, being the DC Revenue.
A lot has been said, but I'll just say he's a very, very committed person. He's somebody I describe as a still water that runs deep. He's a very just person, very, very just person. People like him don't retire, they refire. I will consider him a general on the reserve bench. He has a lot to offer, and we'll miss him so much. We'll miss him. He was very diligent.
Say the service is losing someone that has actually put in so much. He has been a very hardworking officer. He has been committed and dedicated to his job, and has actually done so much that we are afraid that nobody can fill his shoes.
It's no, it's no, it's yes, it's yes. So that's how we grew up in the service, and we know him like that. He's a reliable friend, a good officer, and he has done his bit in service of the nation. just like we do. We are the last two standing. So I retired just before him. And I'm happy to be here because
someone that would not just sit back and say, well, if it doesn't concern me, it's none of my business and I wouldn't want to interfere. He was always willing to share from his wealth of knowledge. He was always willing to encourage us, those of us that were in headquarters at that time, doing the kind of assignments that we're giving, encouraging us to give of our best.